Hey everyone, it is Jeff Douglas, golf fitness trainer and physical therapist. And I'm going to come on this video to show you ways that you can assess your power so that when you can start a training program, you can go back and reassess and see if you have made any gains in your power development other than looking at your club head speed and ball speed, all right? These are just ways to, in a gym setting, to tell if you have made improvements, all right? So this is from the Titleist Performance Institute, these different ways to assess your power, all right? So the first one we're gonna do is the crunch throw, all right? They will use a 4 kilogram for males, and then they'll use a 2 kilogram for juniors or women. Here, I am gonna be using a 6 pound, all right? The big thing here is, like, it's nice to do what they do because then you can compare it to the norms, all right? And it's fun to compare what do the pros do, what do the average normal people do, and that's great. Honestly, for me, all I really care about is let's get a baseline number and let's make that baseline number better after we do our program. And if we didn't get it better, then we had a poor program and we need to go back and adjust. And if we got better, then we know what we're doing is working, and you may want to just keep doing it, or maybe it's time to throw some small tweaks in, all right? That's all based off who you work with and their professional opinion. But the first one we're gonna do, okay, is you would take your medicine ball, okay? You're gonna slightly bend your knees, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the ball and you're going to, when you come up, you're gonna crunch, and you're gonna throw it as far as you can, all right? So this exercise is to test your core strength and how much power your core strength can produce to transfer into your arms to toss the ball. So mark where your feet are, okay? And then you need to have someone down there who would mark the spot where the ball lands so that we can measure the total distance of the throw. So it looks like this. I'm gonna come here, bend my knees, I'm gonna sit up, and then I'm going to throw it as far as I can. And then you would mark it, all right? And if you want, you could do 2 or 3 reps to get an average, add them all up, divide, or you could just take your best throw and write that down so then you have a number to shoot for, to beat with your training program. So that's the first one that we're going to do there. So the next test to look at power is a seated chest pass. So you could either have a seat that has a back support, okay, so you're not falling back, or you can just find a bench like I have and use that there. And all you're gonna do is you're gonna take the medicine ball and you're going to just do a chest pass like you're playing basketball and see how far you can get it to land. And this is to look at your upper body power, all right? How much force can I produce with my chest, with my triceps, with my arms alone, separate from my core and my legs. So you get here, lock it in, and then you're just going to fire it out there as far as you can. And then you would measure where your feet are, okay, or the bench, and then you would measure where it lands. Again, if you want to do it 2 or 3 times, take the average, or do it 2 or 3 times and take your longest one. That's totally fine. You just got to make sure when you retest it, we keep everything the same. Okay, so the last medicine ball one we're going to do is going to be a shot put throw. So you're going to line your feet up like you're in a golf stance, and then you're going to take and load that back hip, and you're going to launch the medicine ball as far as you can, but you're not going to let your feet come over the line. You're not going to allow them to jump, okay? You're going to keep them glued and make sure you have a line, because that's where you have to start measuring it. You start from there, wherever the ball lands. We're going to go here and shot put it as far as you can. And then you'll do 3 with your non-dominant side, and then you'll do 3 with your dominant side with that. So what it's going to look like is here, load that back hip and fire it. And then you want to have someone mark where it lands, measure the distance, take your 3, take your best, or take your average, and then we would go back and see if you make an improvement on that and make sure that you do dominant and non-dominant side and you mark that. So the last assessment that the TPI will use is using your vertical jump, all right? And why does the vertical jump matter? Well, if you do the vertical jump, you're using your legs to explode, so how powerful are your legs to create a force to get you up in the air? And when we swing the club, you're using the ground reaction force to create that power to transmit to the core, to the arms, which then goes into the club, and then we hit the ball and it goes on its way, all right? So how can you do this? So there are different ways, all right? So one, you'll see like at the NFL Combine where they have the tall pole with the little different plastic things, and you can jump and just whack it and it spins, and then you know the height, okay? So you would set it to you know that that's your height right there, and then when you jump, whatever you hit would be your vertical, okay? Another thing you could do is you come to a wall, and then you put your arm up, measure that, okay? And then you would just go, and there's no gather step on this. It's just a straight down and vertical jump up. So you can go down, explode up, tap it, and wherever you tap it, in the distance from where you tap it when you jump to where you started would be your vertical and the number you would take, all right? You may also see individuals are mats, and then you'll stand on the mat, and when you jump, the mat will time how long it takes for you to, when you leave the ground and come back, and there's a calculation that it automatically makes, and it tells you what your vertical is, okay? Those, you can cheat a little bit. They're not bad. I think it's a small error, but if say someone jumped and they held their knees up a little higher, it could make the time a little longer, so it seems like you have a higher vertical. So just make sure when you do it, it's just a natural jump, come back down, don't keep your knees up or anything like that. And that right there would be how you could test your vertical. Do 2 to 3, write them down, average or your best, and then we go back and do the same test after you do whatever your training program is, 8-week, 12-week, to make sure that you are making positive progress with your training program, all right? This is why you need to get a baseline measurement, and these are just the power ways, all right? So you can look at power, you can look at your range of motion, you can look at your strength, you can look at your swing speed. There's a lot of different variables that you can measure at the beginning to see if your training program is actually benefiting you, and if it's not, then it's time to tweak, all right? So hope this helps, this video, to allow you to potentially go find ways to see where you're at power-wise, and to allow you to have a baseline so you have goals and measurable objective data that you can look back at to know that you are doing the right thing. Let me know if you have any questions. Take care.